Hi, I'm Jennifer. This is Under Relics, and let me get right into this week's thrift haul. I had a great visit to the Goodwill Outlet and found a ton of stuff, including some great crafting supplies that I was able to put right to good use this week. So let's see what we've got here. In the craft supply category, I found lots of ribbon and trim. Fancy gold there. Another one, I think those will be great for doing Christmas ornaments coming up a little bit later this year. And some fun kind of springy frilly ones as well. Some old vintage ribbons. I love these. This one's called Sundance. I think the names are great too. So the fact that somebody actually had the original spools with the full names and things on them. This one's just obviously poinsettias, but they're like the little velvety kind, so that's kind of cool. And a cool old purple one, as well as a black one that I think is going to be great for Halloween, because that'll be here before we know it. So this game's called Perquacky. It actually has all of the letters. I thought I was just missing one, which kind of made it a little bit harder to play, since obviously they probably have figured out which letters were needed to spell a lot of words. It is missing its timer, but it's got everything else. So I think that that's actually fun. The instructions are right inside it. So I also just thought the box itself was kind of cute. So yeah, that was a good find. I'm always on the lookout for vintage linens. I usually find ones that are more Christmassy. This one is really autumny, and I love that. I love the greens and the orange and the gold. It's definitely got a 70s vibe to it, and it looks to be in pretty good shape, so that'll be fun for some fall tablescaping. This really cool old springbok round puzzle. Found this. It's just the top of a box, so somebody had cut that out. Oh, it says, this takes the place of the one you were going to make for you and the one you were going to make for me back in 1963. So I don't know exactly what that is, but Bill was supposed to be making an aggravation board, and it says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. So I think that's kind of cool. I thought that would be kind of fun to cut up and do some junk journal, either covers or collage onto. So stay tuned. We'll see how we can incorporate that. Here's some more little laces. Like, I almost filled up an entire bag just with lace, but it's so light you don't really pay anything for it. And I'm always shocked when I go to the craft store and buy like just a little bit of lace that I need for a project or something like that, like how exorbitantly expensive it can be. So I always try to get that when I can because it's super cheap. Another thing of lace, a sewing drawer, like a drawer from an old sewing cabinet for the machines that go down into the foldable or fold up cabinets. So I'm excited about that because it's great, obviously, for storage and display, and kind of ties into some of the other things that I've got, since I've got some vintage sewing stuff around the craft room as well. Some old sewing notions, including some new in-package zippers. This is Prize Recipes of Greensburg, so from Women of the Moose. I'm assuming that's the Moose Lodge. I found a page of decoupage paper. It was like meant, it looks like for furniture, but I'm going to try to do that. It's more of a fabric-y sort of material, but I think I might be able to do some crafting on paper with that as well. Some scrapbook papers. These obviously aren't vintage, but they have kind of a vintage look to them, so I think that's a good find to be sure. Never pass up a good pack of doilies. Also found some smaller ones, so those will be great for crafting fun as well. It's a lot of stuff, isn't it? This cool old photograph. It looks like maybe that had been in an antique booth at one point because it's got like a number on it. But it's just this really cool family sitting on the front porch of an old farmhouse. All these little cute ornaments. And these are a great example of the kind of thing that you can make with that trim that I was showing off earlier. So I think this will be kind of fun. So like the sequins and the felt and the little trim there. I'm going to put these aside and try to replicate some of them a little closer to Christmas. So there were some really cute styles. I mean, I remember having similar things on our tree growing up. So probably 60s, late 60s, early 70s. And I think they'll be pretty easy to replicate, but they're so cute. Like, look at her little face. Isn't she precious? And the holiday stuff is always so desirable, you know, especially the ones that kind of take you back and make you feel like you're reliving a part of your childhood. So got the little snowman here. He might be fun to replicate. That one's a little bit fancier, but it reminds me of like the Christmas stockings that we had when I was a kiddo. Here's another little angel. I think she might be fun to replicate. It looked like maybe somebody had a whole angel related tree because there were lots of cute little angels. This one's got his little angel Heiny there. A little risque. Here's another cute one. She might be a fun one to replicate with her fancy hair. This one, it looks like it was like the pre-made, like the fabric was kind of designed to cut out and make into an ornament, but still a lot of handiwork. Somebody did all the little knots along the French knots along the way and some other embroidery on there. So I think she's really pretty as well. And here's another little fancy angel. So lots of different styles of angels. I think those will be fun to, again, replicate. Oops, one more. This one's kind of cool because she's got little stitching around to actually, you know, fill in the shape and give you a little bit more definition to her other features and things. So I think that's really cool because they're all different. So it'll give me lots of different styles to kind of play around with come Christmas making time. And I don't even know that this is old. It kind of has an old sort of look to it, but it could be newer because I know that they still do that. But like a rice bag, looks like it had been washed. Really, really soft fabric and just a very faint floral pattern on there. A very, very dainty little hanky here with a butterfly on it. I think that one's kind of cool. And another sweet little angel. It looks like she's got the honeycomb sort of style on her. That one up there. Let's see. This is just a little dolly. I thought she might be fun to kind of switch her over into more of a Halloween sort of mode here in a little bit. Our little angel image. Here's a little Santa. I guess he goes along with the angels we had out earlier. This one, I think, is a finger puppet. So that was kind of a fun idea too. I think that you could make little finger puppets. I found a couple vintage cards. Here we go. And then a couple old photographs. Sweet little girl with another little kitten there. And just another sweet little baby picture. Another fun vintage photo album. I've collected a couple different ones of these. This again was something I remember kind of my parents and my grandparents having when I was growing up. Just another little box. I always think people probably think I'm crazy when I'm pulling this kind of stuff out of the bins at the Goodwill because it's like almost literally trash, but I love the images. And again, I think they're usually really easy to kind of collage with, so that'll be fun. Likewise, here's a little rival crock pot and kitchen tool instruction booklet. Here was a vintage pattern. It's kind of a cool sort of wraparound dress. There was actually fabric with it. I didn't keep the fabric because I didn't know like what dimensions they were. So in any case, kind of like a stretchy knit polyester-y sort of fabric. So I think that would actually be a really cool pattern to make if I was so inclined. Another little rickrack that I can use for Halloween. And some more doilies. The only other little things I've got down in here, I've got a little red from Fraggle Rock. If you remember that show. If you don't, definitely Google that. And a little crocheted heart kind of doily there. So I think that's kind of fun. Also found this, a mail sorter that had a little handle. I'm going to use this because I like to make little kind of assemblages for the folks at the post office that I go to most often. And I think that'll be really cute with some kind of holiday decor on there. Not Halloween decor. I guess I could do that too, but it'll look cuter for Christmas for sure. I also found this cool old bottle jar. It's got the lid that goes with it as well. And then a couple flags, which were great because they were just in time for some crafting that I was able to do for the 4th of July. Just a few more things. Cute little bag. And I found these two Santa stocking ornaments. They're plastic, and they say Merry Christmas on them. And I think those will be fun to do something like assemblage-y for Christmas. So I'll have to be thinking about how I want to style those, but those are going to be great. A cute little tassel, again, perfect and just in time for the 4th of July. So I'm going to tie that right on here. I can get that on there. That's really cute. Put those things back in there. Awesome. Okay, now that's all the more festive. As you can see, my craft room is all decked out for the 4th of July as well. And I'll show off some pictures here so you can kind of take it all in. I've actually swapped out some of the different things I've got around the room to get more red and white and blue into the mix. I have got some kind of bling here on the table, as well as things that I can pull out for crafting and access for different projects that I'm working on. I made a simple 4th of July wreath, added some garlands, and put around things that were red, white, and blue or patriotic all over the room. I am ready for crafting for sure here in my craft room. I feel very patriotic, and that always inspires me to have fun creating throughout whatever holiday season I'm in. So let's go ahead and get to crafting. So in today's video, I'm going to be using some mini check ribbon. I had already pulled it out and then started using it, which is why it wasn't in the video that I just showed off. But I did find that this week and already have put it to good use, as well as one of the 4th of July flags that I found this week. I took that off and was able to copy it and then use it as part of a paper craft, which I'm going to show off here next. Okay, so I'm going to be working on my zine for this month's exchange through the Vintage Collage Club. And these are ones that I had done a couple years. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. In any case, they were a lot of fun. So I did 2 that were kind of Valentine's themed. And you just take a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper. I'm using copier paper, and I used the ones that I had made before as my template, but basically you're folding a certain way. You kind of make it so that there's a diamond in the middle once you cut in like this. So that's what I've already done on the paper here. Actually, yep, I have cut. And I kind of done a little bit of layout of where I want to put things. I'm doing a patriotic theme, kind of like a tribute to America. And I also pulled out a few odds and ends that were kind of red, white, and bluish that I'll use to embellish once I get everything on there. There were a few things that I made copies of just so that I would have them still in some form. I made a smaller version of the bingo card so I'd be able to fit it onto the page where I wanted it. And there's also a fun recipe called patriotic salad. So a fun recipe for patriotic salad that I am going to be using a part of in the layout here, but I wanted to have the back of it so that you could still make the recipe if you wanted to. In any case, I think that'll be a lot of fun to incorporate. And then I've got lots of other kind of pictures and things that I'll be able to use as part of various layouts for this project. So I'm going to go ahead and dive on in. a finished product that I have glued onto, some places better than others obviously, but it doesn't really matter because I just popped this down on the scanner to scan it. Because it goes all the way to the edges, what I did was reduce it to like 97%, which meant that everything would be visible. So obviously the printer doesn't print all the way to the edge of the page. So I just made it a little bit smaller and then was able to trim off the edge around it. So you can see that the copied version is just a little bit smaller than the original, by design, because by reducing it and trimming things off, it means that all the proportions were still correct to be able to fold it up. So what I'm gonna do now is assemble this into the zine. So I'm gonna fold it in half this way first. And give it a fold to the middle. And then fold this one into the middle as well. And of course I need to also fold it this way. I had fun doing this one. Obviously it is a little bit patriotic from an American perspective here. With the 4th of July coming up, I had a lot of my 4th of July crafting materials already out and ready to use. And after looking around, the theme was a place that you love. And after looking at some other options, I decided this was the stuff I had the most of and most inspiration for using. So one of the things I did was, look for like a quote or something, and then settled on a song that I had done back in elementary school, like choir, and I thought it would be really easy to find the lyrics online. Turns out not so much, but I did eventually find a video recording of another little elementary school group doing the song and was able to hit play and type and then unpause it and play again and then type a little bit more, and so got a chunk of the lyrics down that I wanted to use. So I thought that was kind of fun. And then yeah, just lots of really cool images from magazines. This is a copy of a photograph, a copy of a recipe there, so just some fun things in there. And I think, yeah, I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I've made a couple of zines over the years and they're pretty simple. So let me go ahead and finish folding this one. Kind of left it hanging on that front, didn't I? I'm gonna actually fold it back this way now. And I'm gonna cut just to the middle of this one along the center line here. And then as you fold, it makes a little bit of a diamond. You kind of push that back in. This was my front page. So I'm folding everything kind of around so that it stays there in the front. And just make sure all those folds are good and stiff. And yeah, that's my zine. So I've got a little page on the front here. This was an image that I got off of Graphics Fairy that I had used for some other crafting recently. That little image of a kid dressed up as, I don't know if he's supposed to be like George Washington or something, or just somebody from the Revolution, but a cute little Halloween costume from a day gone by, with some stenciling, and I used these foil stars throughout as well to kind of tie everything together. This was a photo, I think, from a National Geographic, and then I used colored pencils to color in one of the little flags that the kiddos had, and page torn from a dictionary, as well as, again, more foil stars. This time I used streamer, and the cool thing about using streamer in like this kind of product is that you get to see like the texture of the little streamers. So I like to use things that have texture because that really comes through nicely in the finished product. and then used the salad. I didn't want to completely destroy it, so I actually copied that off so I'd be able to try to make the salad. I thought that might be fun to take to upcoming 4th of July pitch-ins and things like that. So stay tuned to see if that comes to fruition. And then I've got the back page back here. That was actually a copy of a flag. I took it off its little stick, obviously, so it could lay it flat on the scanner. I like this one because it had a little lighter kind of blue to it, and I thought that tied in with the colors that I used throughout the book. So that's my zine. Let me know what you think.
Thanks for watching today. If you liked today's video, go ahead and hit the like button. And if you'd like to stop back in future weeks to see more of my crafting fun and adventures, go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well. It's always a pleasure to make some crafts and share them with you. And I hope that you have a great week of crafting as well. Take care.